Hello, everyone, and welcome to Buckets and Banter with your hosts, Leondria and Liz.
Two girls who love hoops and love the chat. Parasocial, yeah, we're owning that. Crash out energy, hot takes on deck. Welcome to the podcast. Who knows what will happen next?
Hello.
Um, Hello everyone. This is our inaugural podcast. My name is Leondria, and the reason that I'm here, what brought me to basketball, so I'll just say I played basketball in PE. My dad played basketball before he passed away. He was actually really good at it. I've been tall all of my life. People have always wanted me to play basketball, but I was more like a theater, dance girly. But my entire family is really into sports in general. I think because they came from a really small town and that was all there was really to do. So I grew up, I remember being like 5 or 6 years old and my sister and my mom like screaming because the Bulls had just won the championship and me just being like, it can't be that serious. But you're around that enough, you start to really get in it. And in my formative years, that's when like the Lakers did the three-peat and Robert Horry with the .001. And I just remember like going to school the next day and everybody being really fired up about basketball. And I followed it probably until college. And when Kobe retired, I was like, all right, well, I have no need to be into this again, because he was like, when I think about basketball, like I definitely think about Kobe Bryant. And he was a great basketball player. He was a good person. He had that scandal in his life at one point, but like he would come to my school and give us books and just donate stuff. So after he stopped playing basketball and the new guard was coming in, I was like, there's really no need for me to be into this anymore. And then fast forward to like when Liz got into basketball, and she would just tell me all of these things about all of these people. And of course, at that time, like the Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark thing was in the news. And she had asked me like, oh, do you want to like, at one point we had Disneyland passes together, but that got so expensive. And she's like, do you want to do Sparks season tickets? We had gone to a couple Aces games. I was like, yeah, sure, like whatever. And I remember thinking like, I'm not going to know anything that is going on in these games. And I remember going to the first game and whoever it was, she said the person's name and I was like, oh, like Arike Gumbawale. Like she had been saying the names of these people and talking about it so much that it was like I had been following it my entire life. So that's what brought me to basketball. I'm into the basketball. I know about the game and stuff, but I really care about like the players' lives. And I feel like the WNBA is just this like great underdog story, and I love an underdog story. And so yeah, I'm not the person that like knows all the calls and everything, but I'm into it. And that's what brought me to basketball. What about you, Liz?
Yeah, I think for me, I was really into women's sports. I played basketball when I was younger. I think everyone, starts to play some sports while they're figuring it out. And then I had a girl who was very good at basketball. She actually got a scholarship to UCLA. She was in my grade to play basketball. Yeah. But she told me, you should stick to soccer. And so ever since then, I just really like didn't like basketball. And then but I was really into women's sports. So I do have ACFC season tickets as well, which is the female soccer team here in LA. And when people tell me when they think of women's sports, they think of me, or when they think of me, they think of women's sports. There's like really no greater compliment for me, because like that's just really a huge part of my personality, I think. And I started hearing about this girl named Caitlin Clark. People were talking about this girl from Iowa, shooting these logo threes. And I was like, okay, this sounds interesting. Like, let me just check it out. And so then I watched an Iowa game. I couldn't even tell you what the first Iowa game I watched was, but she was like really fun to watch for me. And so then I kind of was like, all right, let me check out a few more games. And then I really just started following them, and I followed Caitlin to the W. And then that was really the first season that I watched, even the WNBA. But we're here in LA. And so we started, to like what Leandre said, we're really close to Vegas. Went to a lot of Vegas Aces games. I have a Becky Hammond bobblehead in my office. We went to a lot of Sparks games, and The thing about me is when I'm into something, I'm just like obsessively into it, and so I've become obsessively into the W. I will say, however, that that there's a lot of games. So if you're listening to this thinking we're gonna go through the box scores every week, even though I am really into the box scores and I might mention it every single game, every single box score, like that's not this podcast because the thing that I think we both really love about the W, besides it being the underdog story, like Leondria said, is like we're really into the players, we're really into the people, really into the drama, the parasocialness. I'm okay with that. So, that's going to be a little bit more of what we talk about. So, if that's something that's your jam, this is going to be the podcast for you. If you want the, box scores and people going through each game, I've got some really great people on TikTok you can follow, but that's not so much us. So, yeah.
All right. So our first segment is called Full Court Press, and that's where we're just going to talk about whatever game is on top for us. So yesterday the Aces played the Sparks. I
Mhm.
was supposed to watch it. Another thing about me is like watching sports on TV is very difficult for me. Like it needs to be the Super Bowl, and even then, I'm not really watching. Like I'm eating. I'm really there for the halftime show. Um, I think the only game that I watched last season was the playoff games because both of my friends weren't texting me fast enough to tell me what was happening. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna do my homework. We're gonna do the podcast. I'm gonna watch this game, and then I realized a couple of weeks ago I impulsively got rid of my cable, so there was nothing for me to watch it on. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see
Well, I
what
watched
I can
it.
talk about
Yeah, you can watch it on League Pass. We have League Pass with our season
today.
tickets for
Yeah,
the Sparks. We have to wait a whole day when it's on national TV, but we get a free League Pass, and so she's got League Pass now, so she will be watching some of these games. I'll make her.
some of them.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
see.
But the Aces Sparks game, you have to watch. That game was amazing. Like it
Yeah.
was so, yeah, it was so good. It was back and forth. It was high intensity. I think anytime the Sparks and the Aces play, I feel like it's always a good game because there's a little bit of a little
There's a
bit
little bit of rivalry there.
yeah, and I think like I saw this like clip of KP talking about her time in Vegas and
Hmm.
how she felt like, she was becoming kind of like the third or fourth option there, which is true. I mean, Vegas is stacked. Vegas is
Yeah.
stacked. And just she just feeling like I don't mind setting up other players, but kind of my interpretation of what she said, you can go watch the clip, is like, when's it gonna be my turn? Like when are we running plays for me? And
Hmm.
KP scored what 38 points yesterday, and so it's like she can carry a team. She carries the
Yeah.
Sparks.
Yeah. She's a beast. I remember I remember when we went and saw her when she was playing for the Aces
Hmm.
and me just being like this is your Beyonce? Like I don't know. Like, but I think once I mean and last season when the Sparks started, like her start on the Sparks, like everyone was broken up. Everyone was sick. Like Cam Brink was out.
Hmm.
Um who else? There was a bunch of people out. So much so that we were playing Sarah Ashley Barker. Like she was
Yeah,
starting and she was
yeah,
a super duper rookie, but I love her so
yeah.
much. We
Same.
might talk about her later.
But we are
Um
going to talk about her later.
and but like she's amazing. And
Yeah.
I just remember thinking like and that's why like I might say something disparaging about a player, but like you just never know. Like somebody could be on one team and like not be that great, and then they go to another team and they're amazing. Like that's why I like the WNBA so much because like if a player's not to be on the WNBA, there's like five spots, right?
Hmm.
They're cutting people. They cut
Yeah,
Kate Martin.
yeah,
So like if someone's not playing great, they're probably just not in the right place, and then they get to the right place, and it's this like beautiful thing. But yeah,
yeah.
I saw the clip of Cam putting some type of large
The
jewelry.
30. Yeah, yeah.
What is the story
Dude,
behind that? Why does Cam
I
own
don't
that?
I don't think she owns it.
Oh, okay.
Flavor Flav was there. Flavor Flav was at the game,
Oh,
so I think he just made them necklaces because that's kind of his thing because
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
huge. It's huge,
I
right?
saw.
Yeah, and it said 30 on it, and so she had it on her neck, and then she was like, "Oh, she was waiting for KP," and so she's like, "Oh, I'll give it to KP when she comes in," which makes sense
Hmm.
since she dropped 30 plus,
Yeah.
almost 40. So, but yeah, I mean, I think, they even played that game without NECA last night. I literally turned it on. I didn't know that NECA wasn't
Oh,
playing. Yeah,
interesting. Is she
yeah.
hurt?
Yeah, I think they said she hurt her hand in the Mercury game.
Ooh.
So she might be day to day. But yeah, she was on the bench, which is I think why they had Kate again. Although she didn't play very many minutes, but
Yeah.
she played more than some people, which we might talk about
We
later.
might talk about later.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think the game was really good. So I actually really do recommend you watching it. But and that's another thing too. We weren't huge Seattle Storm fans, and so we didn't really see a lot of NECA. And now that she's on the Sparks and we're going to the Sparks a lot,
She's
I don't
amazing.
she's amazing. And I was like, I don't think I gave her enough credit. I remember I would listen to some like TikTokers and they would talk about how NECA's and like MVP caliber, she's so good. And I was like, I don't see it. Like I didn't watch that many Storm games, but I was just like, oh, she's good, but like MVP caliber good. No, she is. And now that I'm watching her way more frequently, like she is amazing.
She's that
Like
girl.
she is that girl. I'm so glad she's on her team. Like
Yeah.
I
And she was
I think
on
we're
the
gonna turn it around.
Sparks, right? Like
She
she was on the
was.
Sparks for a long time, and then she
Hmm.
decided to go to Seattle and then came back. And I remember a lot of what I know about the WNBA historical wise is from Sue Bird's podcast, but she was just talking
Hmm.
about, I feel like it was the political answer, like, oh, I went to Seattle because they had this great facility and I wanted to,
Hmm.
prolong my longevity as a player. But I'm sure there was some reason why she decided to leave a place where she had been playing for a really long time. And then now she's back. And shout out to her. But like everybody, I remember watching Erica Wheeler like in
Ooh.
Unrivaled. And like that, so again, I don't really pay attention to it, right? So like, unless there's a reason for me to pay attention during the games, like I don't know all of the players. And during Unrivaled, she was just such a goofball. Like she was a good player,
Yeah.
but she was just like untucking people's jerseys. And I was like, oh, we
Yeah.
got this girl. I don't know. And she doesn't like always make her threes, but I feel like she's a really good like person on the court. Like she gets the ball to people. Is that her job? Is
Yeah,
she
no, she's a good, yeah,
okay?
she's a point guard. Yeah, I think she's a point
Wonderful.
guard. She,
Learn, yeah.
she was on the Fever and so obviously I went to the Fever. Fever was the first team that I really liked in the W because I follow Caitlin there.
Hmm.
And Erica was her vet, and Erica just has such good energy. She wasn't playing that much, but she had good energy. And so then, although I don't watch a ton of Storm games, I did watch a few because she went to the Storm last year.
Oh,
And yeah, and she was doing like so well. I was like, oh man, like I wish I got to see more of her on the Fever, but I understand why they didn't. And now she's on this another person that's on the Sparks now that I'm just like I'm really glad to see her just shine. I feel like a lot of people left their teams and came to the Sparks and are really shining.
yeah.
Like I would say Ariel Atkins too. Like I
Same.
watched a
I
lot
was
of
like, oh God.
yeah,
But I
I
did
watched a
think
lot of Sky
Chicago was
games.
going through something, you know?
They were. They
Because
definitely
nobody
were.
was really shining or happy, it seems
No,
like, you
no,
know?
not at all. Yeah, and I don't know. Everyone kept saying like I remember people were saying that Chicago paid too much for her, and then
Mm.
she didn't perform well from what I
Mm-hmm.
saw, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Sparks basically did a one for one trade, and I'm not super excited or happy that we got
No.
rid of Rakia Jackson.
No. Or Azure.
Um, or Azure. Well, we didn't get rid of Azure. Azure signed
Azure
with
wanted to
them.
leave.
Yeah, she
Hmm.
wanted to leave.
I'm thinking
But
Rakia wanted to leave. I think they would have kept her if she didn't say something, you know?
I agree. I think Rikia wanted to leave. It's closer to her house. I think ultimately she will be on that Detroit team because she's from Detroit, I believe.
Hmm.
So I don't blame her, but I'm glad that Ariel, she's still not playing as super like she's not playing to the same level in my opinion, just by the eye test, not by any box scores, so no one come for me. But
Hmm.
I think, she's not playing as well as Rikia, but she's playing so much better, I think, with the Sparks than I saw her play in Chicago. So I'm just really glad, like, all these players get to have and again, maybe it's just like bias on my end. I'll admit that
Hmm.
because I'm a Sparks fan, right? Like,
Hmm.
and so I'm just like, oh my God, look at all of our players, like, and I want them
Hmm.
to do well. So I take
Hmm.
ownership that it might be a biased fee, but I think like, I think that for me, I really think that they left situations and came to LA and they're just thriving.
Yeah.
And I think you see that with how they're playing. And the Sparks are really starting to figure it out and turn it around. And like they won the last couple games against good teams, like
Hmm.
that. the Aces are like you had MVP, four-time MVP, and for a long time wasn't shooting. She came alive in the fourth, which is why she's
Hmm.
MVP. But like, they didn't get her to very many shots. She didn't take over the game,
Hmm.
and we played the Mercury and like AT and Joanna Bonner and all them like they aren't schmucks either, and we
No.
were able to beat them. So I think we're starting to turn it around because we lost a lot in the beginning of the season. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited for the rest of our season. I think we're gonna do really well.
I
So
also just think like we're starting with more like players than we did at the beginning of last season. And last season we made it almost all the way to playoffs. So if
hmm
anything would have been better than kind of what we started with last season. And like not to disparage the women that were starting at the beginning of the last season, like I shout out to them. I love them all, but like
yeah,
I think we're doing a lot better, and I think like Kate Martin is going to change the game. I think it's crazy that the Valkyrie got rid of her
I I know, I know. I know we're going to talk about her in the I'm going to stick beside
later.
her. Yeah, but yeah, I'm a huge Kate Martin fan. And I'm, you know what I think it is that I think last year, I think in order to have a really successful team, in my opinion, okay, as
Hmm.
somebody who's not talking about the nickel and dimes and all the little stuff, I
Hmm.
do think that you need to have your kind of core star players, right? And I think
Hmm.
for us, we got two for the Sparks. We've got two star players in KP and NECA. Like
Hmm.
those are the two people we're gonna play through. They're the people that are gonna you want to have the ball in their hands. Like they're the people that you're gonna trust with the game on the line, kind of thing. Like
Hmm.
and you need to run plays for those two. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say three. I'm gonna put Derek Hamby in that too. But
Oh
I think
yeah,
once you have more than three, I think like it
you're
it
doing it.
it's too it's no, I think it's too much. I think then you
I
need
think
to
that's the
have your
aces though, right? Like the aces is definitely more than three.
I would say that the Aces three are Asia, Chelsea, and Jackie. And
Yeah, but I feel
everybody
like
else.
Jewel.
No, I think everyone else is a role player. And they know
Mm.
that. And they go in there being like, I'm here to be a role player. Jewel asked to come off the bench. So she knew she's there. I think for a while, Jewel wanted to be a core three. And I
Hmm.
think that those players are just as important, right? Like,
Yeah,
I think Nalissa Smith, that team turned around because of Nalissa. I love
literally,
Nalissa. I think so.
literally.
But
And
she
I
knows
think,
her role.
but also like people before she joined the aces were talking shit about her. It's like
Yeah,
she went to that team because they lost KP, right?
they did.
And she went to that team and turned it around.
Well, I think because they needed those role players. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
you need
Everybody
people
can't be the
who
star.
correct. And I think you need to know that. And I think that was the problem with Kennedy in a lot of places is that I feel like she wanted to be the star because Kennedy is that good. Kennedy is
Yeah,
that good. She
100%.
could
10
be the
minutes, a
star.
million points, right?
Correct. Correct. And I think that she wants to be. But the problem is that there are other players that are better than her. Or and like she needed to be in a position where she's going to be that role player. And I think that's where she's at now that she was out of the league for a year or two.
Hmm.
And the Aces picked her up and she's willing to play that role right now for the Aces. And so now they're thriving with her and she's
Hmm.
thriving. And I don't think being a role player is necessarily a bad thing. It's just knowing that we're not always going to run plays for you. Like we're
Hmm.
running plays for Asia. We're running plays for Jackie, you know? For the Sparks, like we're running plays for KP, we're running plays for NECA, and everyone else around them needs to fit into that vision. And I think that that's hard for a lot of people when you know you're that good. And 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 I think that that's what we have right now, which is why I think the Sparks are really thriving, is because Cam's okay being a role player. She's okay coming off the
Hmm.
bench for NECA.
Hmm.
I think Erica Wheeler knows that she's a role player. I think that Ariel Atkins knows that she's there to set up KP and NECA. I think that
Hmm.
everyone on the Sparks has bought into what we're doing now, and like that's why you're thriving. And I think the best teams have those really good underdog players that are okay being option three or four, you know? But you're that good, but you're gonna be option 3 or 4 because you're not the Asia, you're not the Chelsea, you're not the Jackie, you know.
Yeah.
And I think if everyone's trying to fight to be that, then you don't have a team with really good chemistry. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I don't really know, but that's just my opinion on it. Yeah.
Um, so shout out to the Sparks. We hope more wins to come. But also, if you don't, still we'll still be sitting in row 2, screaming
We
and
are.
being very angry at the refs.
And finding out the refs' names. And even though they
And
give us a
hollering
little
at them.
card, yeah,
Yeah.
they give us that little card that says, please be respectful and don't, and
I
we
don't
still
say
don't.
anything crazy about Rob, but I'm gonna tell him that I don't think he can see, you
Yeah.
know. That's my prerogative, I feel
Yes,
like,
it is. Yes, it
as
is.
a fan.
Yeah. What's that
Um
one? God, what's that one ref name that we
A
hate?
bot, it's like A
It's something with
something.
an A. Yeah. He's bald, right? Yeah. We
Don't
don't
be
like
like us.
him.
We're a little bit toxic.
Be like us. Be a little bit more toxic.
All right, so that was our full court press. Now we're getting
Hmm.
into parasocially speaking, which is
Yeah.
my favorite part of
Yes.
the whole situation.
Yeah.
But
And
I'll
a
let you
little
start
bit
us
more with
off.
this. Yeah, and a little bit more what this podcast is, like
Yeah,
I
this is
really
what
want
we
to
care
talk
about.
about no, what we care about. This is you know, I know that there's a bad rep of being parasocial, but I'm okay with it. Okay. I'm a
I
little
feel like we're
parasocial.
responsible, and I
Yeah,
think it's because we're not teenagers or early
that's probably what
20s.
it is.
Like we're
Yeah.
like real adults who have real jobs and touch grass
Y-
often,
Yes.
and we weren't
Yeah.
born with social media. So respectfully,
Respectfully. We
respectfully
know how.
parasocial. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not going on. I guess we started a podcast to talk about it, but I'm not on social media like tagging them and me,
No, I'm not harassing these
spreading
people
rumor. Yeah, no. Please
that
don't
are
harass
like
them.
10 years my senior, like I'm gonna let them live their lives. But it's fun to
Yeah,
talk about.
it is. So what I want to talk about
Hmm.
is one of my favorite parts about the W is women loving women, and
Yeah.
are they and are they or aren't they?
Yeah.
And so there is a rumor going around
Ooh.
that maybe Sarah Ashley Barker and Emily Engstler are
Ooh.
moved to the Portland Fire and potentially are dating.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
Yes, and I think Emily has a history of dating people that she plays with. I think there was like a
Hmm.
rumor for a long time that she was dating Veronica Burton when they were on
Ooh.
was it Connecticut Sun, Washington Mystics? I don't know. They're on a team together,
Something.
some, and rumor had it that they were dating. And, I don't blame, but Sarah Ashley Barker had a boyfriend when she was on the Sparks. So I don't know, but if you follow them on TikTok like I do, you might have noticed that they're posting a lot together, which shouldn't be weird because they're
They
teammates.
are teammates. Yes.
Yes, but they have a couple TikToks where they look awfully close. A lot of chemistry looks like it's
Mm,
going on there, which I don't blame either of them because Emily is my type. And I think anyone with 2 eyes can see that Sarah Ashley Barker is gorgeous. So,
beautiful.
they're both very attractive people. And then there's a TikTok where they did something together that the two of them are hanging out, and Emily's sister's there, so she's also hanging out with sisters. She's also hanging out with family.
Mm.
So I have no idea. I don't want to start rumors, except that I am.
But maybe
And
we are.
but maybe we are. It's a rumor that's already out there, right? We're just
Yeah.
talking about it.
You're contributing to said
I'm
rumor.
contributing to said rumor, and I had to tell you. I kind of hope that's happening. I kind of hope it's happening. Like I said, they're both very attractive people. They look like they're both fun, nice people. Sab seems to be thriving in Portland. They just won against the Tempo last night, which is flipping crazy to me.
I know.
Because I would say that if you were to put these two rosters up against each other, you would say that the Tempo's roster is far and beyond better. But somehow
Hmm.
the Portland Fire just keep pulling it out, giving you don't even, and I love that. I love
I
that.
love
But
it.
yeah, but yeah, I hope that they're dating. I think that they're dating. I love their TikToks together. So yeah, what do you think?
I think that we have seen this before.
I've seen
Potentially.
this
I
film
think we've
before.
seen, you know, one person that we thought maybe like men and another person that didn't do a lot of TikToks together, and then maybe the sister was also involved.
Hmm.
And then, they were together for a little bit and now we don't know. Which
Yeah.
which leads me to my parasocially speaking, which
Tell me.
it's not really like a relationship thing. I just want to talk about like how much I love the Connecticut Sun
Hmm.
and how much I love Sanaya Rivers. Like she is my favorite player. All because I was sitting at a Sparks game and someone behind me was like, "Oh, those are the two, that they're talking about." And I asked Liz like, "What is she talking about?" Because again, if there's nothing like that I know about the team, like I watch the games, but like I don't really care about the other team.
Hmm.
And she was telling me about at the time the rumor that Sanaya and Marina were potentially together.
Hmm.
And then I just learned more about Sanaya. Her mom actually passed away maybe like a couple of weeks before my mom passed away last year. And I know how I was feeling at that time in my life. I could not imagine being 20. I think she was 22 at the time.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine being 22 and then having to deal with that and then just having to like play professional basketball for the first time in your life.
Yeah.
Like, I think her first game was against the Aces. I think she's amazing and wonderful and a really good basketball player and very versatile. And at one point, it was confirmed that her and Marina are together. I don't know what the situation is. I hope that whatever is, I hope that everyone is happy and everyone is friends and everybody feels good about the
Yeah.
situation. But even if they are still together, like, I know a lot of people were sad to see that Marina wasn't going to be on the Sun, but I think
Hmm.
Marina deserves this. She's kind of this like amazing player that's always kind of on a team that is not a bad team, but has some sort of handicap, right?
Always.
And
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk about it a little bit later, but like I'm a part the intellectual side of me is very happy that she's on a team that's doing really well. I felt away when they were beating the Sparks, but we'll talk about that later. So and I know that Marina probably filled a gap for Sanaya, because her mom had just
Hmm.
died. So I was just wondering how she would do this year, and like I just love the Connecticut Sun because like from the gate they have all these videos just like in the locker room, and I feel like people like look at BG and they think like whatever they think about BG, right? And
Hmm.
they're just like out here in these streets like dancing, doing splits. And I'm really happy that Sanaya has just people on that team and it seems like they're really close. Like I feel like over Unrivaled, because Olivia Nelson Ododa she wasn't in Unrivaled, right? Was she
No, I don't
hurt or
think so.
something?
I don't think she's ever been on Unrivaled.
Yeah. Well, it was around the time when it was the like the what do you call it when it's the college basketball finals? I guess
March
just that.
Madness,
Yes, but like toward the end, like when UCLA and UConn were playing.
the national championship.
There we go. They were all together. And
Yeah.
that was around the time where it was rumored that like Sanaya and Marina weren't together. We don't know. We don't care.
Yeah.
We just hope everyone's happy.
I care. I
And
care a little bit.
I just want everybody to be happy.
Well, I
You
want
know?
them to be happy too, but I would like them to be happy together if possible.
I wonder, hypothetically, if Marina really likes girls. And
I
I
know. You've
wonder
been saying that. Yeah.
how it would feel to be a person that like knows in your heart and spirit that you like girls with a person that's on the fence.
Yeah. I feel
And
you.
I like both of them to just hope that they're
Yeah.
both
Happy.
doing the thing that's best for them. Because
Yeah.
I have not dated any women myself, but I've heard women who like women just be like, you get to a point where you're like, I'm not dating any more straight girls, right? Because it's
Yeah.
almost like dating the toxic guy, right? Like
Yeah.
you
It
see the
is.
pattern,
Yeah.
and I don't know if that's allegedly, I don't know what's going on there, but I'm just glad that like Sanaya Rivers and Anissa Morrow and like Olivia Nelson Ododa and BG like it seems like they're meshing really well. Yes.
There's rumors that they might be trying to trade Anissa tomorrow, so we'll
Oh no,
see.
that would make me cry.
That would make me sad, yeah. Her and
That would make me
Sanaya seem
very
really
sad.
close.
Because Anissa,
But
I
she
think,
hasn't
is
been
just like slept
playing.
on.
She hasn't been. I agree, but I think she hasn't really been playing for the Sun, and she hasn't been in any of their social medias lately. So some people have been wondering.
If
Hmm.
she's gonna get traded, which is
Yeah.
crazy because I see all the discourse about how it's crazy that she's not starting, and I do think it's crazy that she's not starting. And then for one game she started, but somebody must have been hurt because I follow the
Hmm.
Connecticut Sun social media, and I was like, oh, she's starting. But then I saw more videos saying like, oh, it's crazy she's not starting. So I was like, oh, maybe that was just for the game. But I think Anissa Morrow is another just example of if you just follow like the big name, the star player on the team, like you would only know about Angel Reese, right? But like Anissa
Hmm.
Morrow is a beast. Like she's so good. So it is a little bit surprising to me that they're not starting her.
Yeah. But
But
then
yeah.
maybe that's to your point earlier is that like maybe she's going to go to a team that it better fits her,
Yeah.
and ultimately it is about fit, you know.
It's about fit. It's a
I think
pretty
she
young.
fits with the Sun, to be
Oh,
fair,
100%.
but maybe they
And
feel
when
like
she's
she
off
doesn't for
the
whatever reason.
yeah, and the first couple of games, like when she got off the bench, she had crazy high numbers for the amount of minutes that she was playing. And I don't know who starts. So like what is Anissa's she's a forward, so who starts? Is it Nell Angloma?
No, she's a guard.
So who is starting? Like
Um,
who is it? Oh, it's Aaliyah Edwards.
is she starting? I don't even know. I'd have to look it up.
I'm asking. I'm just looking because I'm looking at the roster right now. The only other forward, Reagan Beers, she just started playing,
I
right?
think
She's a
that's
rookie.
yeah, but I think that's who she correct. But I think that's who she's. I think Reagan Beers is starting over her.
Oh,
Because Anissa,
interesting.
I think that Anissa is like an undersized forward, but she's really good, but she's smaller.
I mean, looking at just the points per game and right now it's like I if we were just looking at numbers, Anissa would start. But I'm happy for
Hmm.
them, and if she gets traded, I hope that she goes to a place where she's happy.
Hmm.
Because at the end of the day, it's like, it's basketball. It should be fun to an extent.
Yeah, she's a forward and she's 6'1", so she's a little bit
Anissa,
under. Uh-huh. So she's a
and
little. I can
then
look it
this
up.
girl Reagan Beers is 6'4".
Yeah. Well,
Bothers
I
me
don't.
not.
I don't know much about Reagan Beers. I'm gonna be honest. Whatever team she came from in
I
college is
knew that
not a
she was
team I
new,
followed. Yeah, that's the only
but
reason. And
um,
undrafted. I think she went undrafted, and now she's start. Is she starting?
I don't know. I
I
would
don't think she's
imagine that
starting.
the forwards on the team are Leah Edwards, Reagan Beers, Anissa Morrow, and Nell Angloma. I would
No,
imagine that,
Nell's a guard.
well, they have her as a forward.
Do they?
They have her on I'm looking at the Connecticut Sun roster. They have her as a forward. I would
Okay.
imagine the only person that I know on that list is Aaliyah Edwards. I know she's a really good player.
Nell is
Um,
from overseas, and she's really good from what I hear.
every person
You're
on this
right. They
list,
have her as
their
a
points
forward.
per game are lower than Anissa Morrow's. So
Yeah.
just throwing
Well,
that out
Nell
there.
just started playing,
Oh, okay. Well, I
so
mean,
because
they
she
can do
came from
whatever they
overseas.
want to do. I just think it's kind of crazy. Just looking at
Yeah.
the scores right now, Anissa Morrow has the highest ones on all the
Yeah.
things.
I know. That's strange. We gotta figure out what's going on. Maybe we'll get more
Yeah.
clarity.
But to your point, if she's getting traded, maybe they don't want to like hurt her or something.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's
maybe.
my parasocially speaking. Whenever I see an Anissa and Naya video, it makes me happy and I send it to Liz. And whenever I see on threads, usually the Connecticut Sun getting hyphy, that also makes me really happy. And I feel like I'm a part of the crew, even though respectfully, I know that I'm not. So if I were to see any of these people in person, I wouldn't do anything weird because that would be weird, you know?
Well, I am the kind of person that when I see someone in person, I run the other
She
direction.
runs away,
So, yeah, I just
runs
don't know
away. We were
why.
staying at the same hotel as
As
the
a
Indiana
fever.
Fever. I'm standing there. I see a person. I don't know these people. This is before we even had season tickets. I turn to be like, "Who's that?" And she's down the hall. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Girl, you got to
And it
tell
was,
me." I don't even know who to ask at this
yeah,
point. Was
gotta
it?
ask me.
We saw Leah
It was
Boston,
Melissa.
right?
No, it was Melissa Smith. We saw Melissa Smith, Victoria Saxton, Kelsey Mitchell, whose jersey I have on.
I
Kelsey's
had
who
no
I
idea.
ran from. We were going down the elevator, and when the elevators opened, like we literally were in the same hotel, same like elevator wing, everything. The elevators opened and I saw Melissa Smith and I was like, I got
And she just
so
got ghosts. And
I
again,
did.
now I would, if I saw Alyssa Smith, I'd be like, can you sign something for me? But at the time, I was like, okay, these tall women, I know they play basketball.
Yeah.
I imagine they're the Fever because they're not, the Aces.
Yeah.
um,
The aces aren't staying in this
and she was
hotel. Yeah.
gone, y'all. She loves
I
Kelsey Mitchell. That's
I
crazy to
do.
me. If I
But
see a
Kelsey
person,
was
I will
so nice
ask.
because our friend Marina took a picture and Kelsey was
Yeah,
like, and us used to walk in and it was fun. She was really sweet to us.
yeah.
Um,
Shout out to Marina.
yeah. Our friend Marina, not Marina. Shout out to Marina, both Marinas, but we're talking
Shout
about
out to all the
one.
Marinas in the
Shout
world,
out to, yeah, you're Marina. Shout out to you.
the inanimate
Um,
objects as well.
yeah. So we want to move into one of that might be my favorite segment,
Oh,
which
yes.
is Crash Out Chronicles. So the
Hmm.
one thing you'll know about us is we support our Crash Out queens. Like the more you crash out, the more I'm probably gonna like you. And I really want to talk about and I also am a person that crashes out myself, which is probably why I really like crash outs. And
Hmm.
so in this kind of segment, we either want to eat like highlight and shout out one of our favorite crash outs for the week, or two, crash out about something ourselves. And
Hmm.
I'm going to combine the two today
Hmm.
because I want to talk about two players who are crashing out on the court together. But then I want to crash out about the discourse around it. So I want to crash out about Tip and Cece. So if you know about me, you know that I love Cece. Obviously, she's what brought me to the W. But I also really love Tip Hayes. Like when the Aces signed her, like almost mid-season, and then I just like fell in love with Tip Hayes. Then she went to the Valkyries, and she's obviously still on the Valkyries, and like I love her down. Like I love her down. I think she's so fun. I love her style. She's so funny. I love her and Kate together. I know that she's not everyone's favorite W player. Everyone thinks that she's kind of a foul baiter and, kind of like a flopper and stuff like that. That's what people say about her. But even when she was on Unrivaled, people were saying that about her. But I will defend her
And
to the end
people
of
was
my
hitting
days.
her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I want to crash out because the two of them, when the Valkyries and the Fever played, another really good game, so much fun to watch, and Caitlyn hit that three over Tip from what was the word they used from another stratosphere, from the logo, and then the two of them started chirping at each other. I love that. I love that stuff. Like I I live for that. And I think, and this is my crash out, is that like people need to let it go. Like when when two women are chirping at each other, people make it some sort of thing. And it's not a
Hmm.
thing. It's not, let them chirp. If these were two men, I swear to you, no one would be saying anything. And the discourse that has gone online, like of people just talking bad about Tip, or talking bad about CC, because and you can say, oh well, it is CC fans, they're crazy, da 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 da, or you can say, oh well, it's the people who hate CC. Everyone's talking negative. Everyone's talking negatively and about the other. And I'm like, what I have to say about it is let it go. Let these women chirp. That is so fun. When that happened, like I felt my adrenaline. I was like, yeah, like go. Like I love watching people crash out. I love watching people chirp at each other. It is fun. It is good for the game. I'm sorry, it is. Like it is good for the game, I think, because also it's good for the game because you know that now that this game is over, well, they're playing each other again coming up. But you know that they're all most of them are just chill off the court. Like Tip and Kate are friends, and Kate and Caitlin are best friends. Like, you know that they've had interactions with each other that are probably positive, but they're on the court, they're competitive. Let them be competitive. Like, let them fight with each other. Let them talk shit to each other. Like, that's fun for me. I get so excited watching people chirp. I get so excited watching two really good players going at it. It gives you a little something extra, like it gives it a little extra fun, an extra flavor. It really brings my adrenaline up. And I think that people need to like let it go. Like honestly, if you're online right now and you're saying, "Oh, Tip is so classless," da 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 da, like that's dumb. If people are saying, "Oh, I wish that Tip would come at I've seen someone online say something like, "Oh, I hate CC so much. I think the Valkyries need to put in one of their development players just to do something to her." Like, this is dumb. Like, you guys, people
Those
that
are
like
people
write
that are
this,
not touching grass.
yeah, go outside, touch some grass. Like, it is okay for two people to chirp at each other, and you don't need to like threaten each other, people's lives. Like, this is
No.
dumb. Like, those are the people that make watching the W hard. And like, I'm really lucky because on my social media, I love the mute and block button, and I can really curate my social media to be things that I want to see. And every so often I will see something bad, but people need to go outside, people need to touch grass, and people need to be okay with two women going at it in a competitive environment and know that it can be okay afterwards. Like, and I that's just my crash out for right now. Like, let the women chirp. I love watching them chirp. I love both of these women. Cece brought me to the W, but all the other players, all these other stories, all these other teams have kept me in the W. And I think that it's okay to love all players. It's okay to dislike some players too. There's players that I don't love, I'm not fans of, but I'm also not on there like threatening their lives on social media. Like, let it go. Let it go. It's weird.
Yeah. Um, so I think that's just like another example of sexism, right?
Yeah.
Because this wouldn't be a conversation for the MMBA, right?
No.
Um, but yeah, well, like with anything, you're gonna have fans, and then you're just gonna have people that are toxic because people bring whatever they're bringing to the thing, they're gonna bring to the fandom.
Yeah.
And that sucks, but most people, sometimes the loudest people are the people that aren't, but just because people are loud doesn't mean that that's like the majority of the fandom.
I agree.
Um,
I agree.
but
And
yeah,
I would argue more people are normal,
more
which
people
is
are normal.
why which is why I curate my social media to be a certain way.
Hmm.
Um, but I was hyped. I was hyped when the two of them were chirping. I was hyped when Cece and Solange, like right before halftime, got double text. Like,
Hmm.
I love that. I live for that. Like, give me
Caitlin Clark
competitive.
does love a tech. She will get a
She
tech.
loves the
She
tech.
will holler at a ref and get a
Sh-
tech.
I love it. I love it so much.
Yes.
I
I
love
think
crash outs.
I think what's funny is that Liz is like a very nice person and just normally doesn't like I've
I
just never
won't
seen
crash out
her
in real life.
egregiously go for somebody. So I love that like in her spirit this is like other people being very vocal about themselves is like doing something for her.
That's probably why I love it because it's
Yeah.
like I won't crash out on people in real life. Like, I don't like confrontation. I run from it.
Mhm.
I run from,
She's
every
like I love it in the
I,
W.
but I love it. Like, I get so excited. And I think it's because I played sports my whole life. And so
Hmm.
I was it's like that's the only place that I would be like aggressive. That's not the right
Hmm.
word. Like, that's the
I mean
only
you're
place
supposed to
that I
be.
would, yeah, like that's the only place that I would like talk shit. It's the
Yeah.
only place where, but like it's in my spirit, but I just don't do it in real life. So
So
I
I
like
think
to
we need
watch
like
it because
a
I appreciate it.
if there are comments, I don't know how we're posting this or where we're posting
Yeah.
this, but if you write a comment, encourage Liz to respectfully crash out a little bit more so she can let those feelings out.
Yeah.
My crash out today is about the first time that the Sparks played the Toronto Tempo. So that game, Brittany Sykes, who I also love, she's a fave.
Love.
She has a
She
whole
is.
life. I'm very
Hmm.
respectful, but love her. She had a career high of 38 points, mostly because that game broke the record for the most fouls called in a
Oh.
WNBA game. So before that game, the record I think was 53, and we were already at 53 fouls I think by the third quarter. So
Yeah.
they got all the way to 59
Yeah.
fouls called. And it like it's one of
We were
those
there
things
for a
too.
record-breaking game.
Yeah, and then it was like, okay, 59, like we couldn't go to 60, we couldn't make it an even number.
Yeah.
But I think like the W is like all about these contradictions, right? Because on the one hand, there's some games where it's like, you're not gonna call that, and then it
Hmm.
turns into an altercation because fouls weren't called, things weren't stopped beforehand, and now people feel like they have to fight each other because like
Hmm.
now I have to intervene for my teammate, right? But in this game, it was like, I just feel like you're just calling stuff like, and Brittany Sykes, of course, made all of her free throws. I think she's like at 100. I think her and Asia are at 100%. But it's just like that was a game where we definitely pulled out the phones and we were talking shit to the refs by their first name. But it's
Hmm.
like some of these things, and it was almost like, and I don't know this to be true, but it was almost like the game was rigged. It was like they were the tempo was already beating the Sparks' ass. Like they didn't need any help. And then it was just making the game really long. Like the game started at 7:30 that night. It was on Thursday. We were there. We worked a full day and we didn't leave until 9 something because we had to stop the game
Mm.
so many times. And
Yeah.
then there were challenges that were just like anytime the Sparks made a challenge, it was like, yeah, no.
Never.
It's like this
Forget about it.
person didn't even touch that person. You can see it on the jumbo screen. Like I don't know. It's like we just have to fairly call the game. We
Yeah.
we shouldn't have games where nothing's getting called and people are getting hurt, and we shouldn't have games where like a person breathes and a foul gets called on them. Like
Literally.
if you and a lot of these refs is like I saw them last year, so this isn't their first time doing this job. Like we just need to call the games normally.
Hmm.
And I don't understand why that's so hard in the W. It's like we either get one or extreme or another. But 59 fouls is crazy. Like that's
As
just
an
ignorant.
Yeah. As an LA sports fan of women's sports, I would say for some reason, refs hate us. Like at Angel City games, at Sparks games, I feel like it's always lopsided. And you're like, I'm
Yeah.
at home. Shouldn't it be lopsided in my direction? But it's always lopsided in the other direction. I'm like, why do you hate us so much? I
I don't
think they
know.
just hate people from LA. And then they're like, oh, I'm gonna piss these people off. Maybe it's
I
because
don't
we're
know.
loud and we're vocal and we use their names to tell them how much we don't like them.
Potentially, but also I don't have to go and look up your government name if you did your job right.
But
Feel free if at any point I'm not doing my curriculum specialist job right, feel free to holler. Feel free to
hmm.
be like, Leondria, you're not doing a good job. But you
Yes.
probably won't be able to do that because I do my job, you know?
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
and if my job is to call games, I should do that to the best of my ability. I'm not saying like, and that's why there's 3 people on the court, right? Like, you're not going to see
Yeah.
everything. You're looking
Yeah.
at different people, but like, we're only calling fouls for
Yeah.
one team. That's
Literally.
wild. And I think what's wild too is like, there's the discourse around special whistles, but it's like Toronto Tempo, that was what their second game ever.
Yeah. I
So
have
it's
no
like, where did they
idea.
get this special whistle from? Like when Asia is
It's just
playing, I get
Brittany.
it.
Brittany is really good at baiting fouls. And maybe it's because she
She was
drives to the
like
rim so much, but
it almost felt like some of them, yes, she was baiting, but like some of them it was just like you just gave her a foul. And then they would give
mhm.
like Toronto like an ignorant foul, and then they like now it's LA's ball, and then they blow the whistle. It's like, oh well, now LA has a foul. It's like you don't have to keep stopping the game if you're not giving people unfair fouls. So now you feel
Mhm.
bad and you want to give LA like a random foul. Just let the people play the game. If somebody, does an illegal screen, if somebody hauls off and smacks somebody, yes. If somebody is hitting or scratching, like, yes, stop the game. But like,
Mhm.
what was the purpose? And
Yeah.
like again, the tempo was already beating the Sparks ass. They didn't need any more help.
They did not. I think she
Um,
got more than, I feel like she got half, maybe more than half of her points and her career
from
high
the free
point.
throws.
Yeah.
Let's see. It says career high 38 points, and
I think
it
15
doesn't
of
say
them.
how many were free throws, but there were
I feel like it was about
59.
15
What'd you say?
fouls. I think she had about 15 that game.
Yeah, she had an ignorant amount of fouls. And it's interesting too because I remember the night that Bam got, how many did he get? It was like 89 points or something.
No, I don't watch
He
the
got like 100.
WNBA.
Bam got an
Yeah.
ignorant amount of points.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I think because he's not, this is my perception, because again, I don't watch the WNBA. He's like a
Yeah.
nice guy, and I feel like people think they can like talk shit and punk him. To
Hmm.
me, he's kind of like Russell Wilson. Like guys are always talking shit. But he got however many points it was, right? And then the people were just like, yeah, well, half of them were free throws. And I remember thinking at that time, I was like, well, if people were fouling him, like,
Hmm.
that's not on him that he made the free throws. Like that's on the people that were fouling him. But
15.
how many? 15.
15. I just looked it up.
But in this, being a person that was sitting there and watching it in this situation, it was like, this is an ignorant amount of foul. Like you guys are just calling fouls, and it wasn't just Brittany Sykes, right? Like it was everybody. There was a point where almost everyone on our team fouled out, like our rookies, our starters, and we were down that
Last
game
night
because
too.
Kate had to come in, right? That was the first game that Kate came in, so
Yep.
it was like it got to a point where they were just gonna have to sit down because everybody was gonna fall out. But I don't think it was warranted, and that is my crash out for the week. So
Yeah. Well,
forget
you
them.
mentioned Kate, so
Yes,
I think that makes us time to move into our final segment, which is I'm gonna stick beside her,
I'm gonna
where
stick beside her.
we're gonna talk about a player that we're gonna stick beside. Like, no matter what you said, no matter what we see, no matter what the box score says, we're gonna
Hmm.
stick beside them. And that player for me is Kate Martin. And I think that it's hard. I think like there is an argument to be said that she, isn't having the best, she hasn't been showing up on the court the way that, she had in the past, or, you know, um, there's a lot of discourse. I don't think the Valkyries should have cut her. I have feelings about how people use her. I feel like they use her name and her likeness to get fans, and then they don't value her as like in her
As a
basketball.
player. Hmm.
Yeah, and that makes me sad for her. But I think some people are getting upset that she's getting minutes over. The Sparks have three rookies on the bench. What is it? Chance Gray, I think,
Latson tonight.
Latson,
Yeah.
Tanaya Latson, and
Mm.
Park.
Oh,
And she's been
she
getting
played
minutes
great.
over these. Yeah, she did play great, and I think that they
Hmm.
all can play great, right? All three of them.
Hmm.
But some people have feelings that this developmental player is getting minutes over these people who are on the team,
She's not a
and
real developmental player, which is the problem, right?
yeah, and I think that, when you are in close games, like she had her in yesterday, in yesterday's game, when they were playing the Aces, and I don't think Latson or Gray got any points that day, or I'm sorry, any playing time that day. But it's like when you're in a close game, and your team is trying to win, and Kate has played with Cam, Kate has played with KP, Kate played in Unrivaled, Kate has played against,
Kate was on
you
the Aces.
Kate was on the Aces. She knows how these players play. She knows how Becky coaches. I think like she has something over these rookies, which is experience. And I know you can make the argument that is, well, how are they going to get experience if they don't play? And it's just
This is
like,
the first game that they didn't play, though. They've played all the other games.
I don't think Watson has. But
Both of them have played and not gotten very many points.
yeah, yeah. And I just think that, Kate having this experience with these players, she already has the chemistry. She doesn't have to really develop it as much, I think helps. And I know that we want these rookies to excel and succeed. And I will be the first one to say that like I love the young players because I followed them in college, right? And I followed them in college. I came to the W. The older guard in the W, I know a little bit less because I didn't follow them until I started watching the W, right? So, and I do think that the talent level is changing, and I do think that some of these rookies are coming in more W ready than rookies when they were younger. I'm sorry, rookies, I'm sorry, the older players when they were younger. I don't think they came
Mm-hmm.
into as W ready, and I do think a lot of these players are. But I'm gonna stick beside Kate. I think that she needs to get into her groove. I think the game where she played over, I don't know if it was like 18 minutes, she played a lot of minutes and she really showed up.
Mm-hmm.
And she was the only person on, I think it was against the tempo. She was the
Yeah.
only person on our team with a positive plus minus, and she brought that energy. She brought the, and you see why. And I would agree that I don't think she should be a developmental player. I think she should be on a roster.
Yeah.
And one might argue that that might be the direction that we're going. And I think that the Sparks might, truthfully, what I think is that the Sparks are maybe going to use up all of her developmental games and then waive one of the rookies, see if they pass through waivers, sign them to a developmental, and sign Kate to the main roster. But
Mm-hmm.
by doing this, they are allowing these players to get paid more because you don't get paid as much when you're on the
Yeah.
developmental. So I actually think that's nice that they're doing that.
Yeah.
If that's what they're doing, I think that's kind, and I think that that they go onto a developmental contract so that they can get the experience, that
Mm-hmm.
they are practicing with the regular team, and this is where they're going to get that practice. But I think if you have three rookies on the bench and you have Kate Martin, you're picking Kate Martin over them all day, every day, and I don't think that that's crazy. I don't. You know what Kate's going to bring to that floor, and I think what she brings, she was considered the glue in Iowa. She's a good teammate. She's a really good teammate. I don't think there's not one person that says anything bad that's played with Kate. And I think that they wanted her on that team and like those players. And, I think that Kate, if she can get more minutes, she's going to show why she's in the W.
Yeah.
And, even if she's not playing her best right now, I'm going to stick beside her because I think she's going to be great. So I'm going to stick beside her today.
Yeah. I also, Kate was probably the first person that I knew about because Liz was obsessed with her. I had a Kate Money Martin shirt.
Yep.
And I remember when we would go to the
The
Aces games and
martini.
she would play, we would be the only people screaming for her. But
Hmm.
I love her too. Like, and I think too, like with Unrivaled, you really get to see people kind of come out of their shell because, in the WNBA you have your role, but on Unrivaled, like it's three people. It's kind of
Hmm.
and I think she played really well in Unrivaled, and she's never been a person. I know I like for the draft night, like initially she was sitting in the stands, and then they were like, "Oh, come down, we're gonna draft you," and I know that that's kind of the narrative of her career, but like that doesn't mean that she does not have value or she's not a valuable player. Like as an outsider looking in, it's like this is a really good player. Like, and maybe she didn't fit the Valkyries like what they were trying to do, but I just wish they would have done something before it was too late because they cut her. They kind of made it so the Sparks had to make her a developmental
Developmental.
player, and
I
like we didn't
agree.
even see that coming because we thought like, damn, she's just not gonna play this year, or maybe she'll
Yeah.
get a hardship contract somewhere.
Hmm.
So yeah, I wish they would have given her more options to be able to, you know,
Yeah.
be on a
I
team
agree.
because she is a good player.
And a good
I'm gonna
teammate,
stick
which
good
sometimes is
teammate.
more important.
Yeah. My person that I want to talk about today and just send some love and light to is Rakia Jackson. So, the all of my like jerseys that I
Hmm.
have, all of my shirts are like Rakia Jackson shirts. Like she's just
Same.
always been a fave of mine. And when we got our season tickets last year and we started buying stuff, it was just buying like all this Rakia Jackson stuff. So was a little hurt when I found out that she was going to Chicago Sky, but I also just realized like to me, and I don't know because I'm not a part of her inner circle, like it just seemed like maybe she wanted to be closer to her family, knowing what happened over the summer with Unrivaled. And I can't, even if she just wanted to go to Chicago, right? Even if
Hmm.
it was not for a bad reason, even if she hadn't gone through kind of a hardship this summer, like that would have been totally fine, right? Like everybody should be where they want to be. And then of course she was doing amazing on Chicago because she's a great player, and then she tore her ACL. It's like, damn, she's kind of, I don't want to say like she's having a bad year, right? Because I feel
She's
like
having a bad year.
Yeah, it's like everything
Well,
happens for a reason, right?
true.
There's a reason for everything. Like, whatever you believe. Like for me, it's God. Like there's a divine plan, right? In my mind. But yeah, like I'm praying for her. I'm sending her love and light. This is really early in her career for her to get this injury. But then I think about like Georgia Amore. Is that her name?
Hmm. Hmm.
Like she got hurt. Even did she even play a game or did she get hurt in practice?
She got her. No, she didn't play a game. She's
She didn't
considered
play
a
a game. Like
rookie.
she got hurt in practice, tore her ACL as well, right?
Correct, yeah. This is her
And
first
like now
season
she's doing
playing.
amazing and great. So she is a younger player. I hope she's able to
Bounce
make a
back.
full recovery and like really get whatever she needs. She's been through a lot this year, and whatever happens, I just hope that this time of rest and recovery is really restful and she's able to recuperate and kind of come back to herself. Because being in an abusive relationship like can kind of affect you in ways that you might not see on the outside, and it might not be until years later that you're like, damn, I'm still holding on to some shit from that relationship from 5 years
Yeah.
ago. And I say that from experience. So that's I'm gonna stick beside her.
Mhm. Also sending love and light. I think it sucks because, she was doing well in on the Sparks. Obviously, we loved her. She was our favorite player. But man, she was really thriving and shining in Chicago. And then for her to get hurt after the kind of year that she's had, just is terrible for her. And no matter where she goes, no matter where she plays, I think both of us feel the same, which is just that we love her and we want the best for her. And, she'll, I don't know. I feel like this is her first injury. I don't know. She was at
I
Tennessee, I
think so.
think. And, I think she's going to bounce back. Like, I think she's going to
Yeah.
bounce back. It just sucks that it happened now. Um, but, with everything else that she's had to go through, but, you know, I know that she's gonna, good things are happening. Good things are gonna happen for her. So
100%.
yeah,
All right. Oh, we did it, friend.
we did
We did the
it.
podcast.
Podcast one done.
Mic drop.
Woo! We've been talking about this forever. So
Yes. This is also like the third thing that we were going to do together, and it's actually a thing that came to fruition. So shout out
yeah,
to us for doing the things that we said we're going to do.
yeah. I mean, this was easy, I think, because
Yeah.
we talk all the time. We talk about basketball all the time. Now we just put a camera in front of us. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, all right.
All right. Well, thank you if you listened this long. Thank, thank
We
you.
appreciate you. Our
Hopefully you
our one
enjoyed it.
listener.
Yeah, or
Shout out to
Lizzie.
Lizzie.
Shout out to Lizzie. But yeah. Well, thank you everyone, and we'll see you next week. Hopefully.
Bye.
Bye.